Hi everybody, this is Boogess Reviews, and today I'm finally getting around to reviewing the Marvel Legends Maximum Series Hulk figure. So before we take a look at Hulk, let's go ahead and take a look at all of the numerous accessories that he comes with. So first up, he comes with a set of fisted hands. Up next, he comes with a left accessory holding hand and right open hand. I wish we would have got a matching left open hand and right accessory holding hand. You can kind of wedge his accessory in that hand, but it doesn't quite hold it like this one, since this left one is specifically an accessory holding hand. Up next, you get this missile. It's cast in this marbleized gray plastic. I wish it would have been done in silver, but the flame effect on it looks really nice. How it fades from that orange to the red. That looks really good, and you can unplug that if you want. And I think the coolest part about this is you can actually rip it in half, and you can see all the wiring running up through it. That is pretty awesome. Here he is holding the missile ripped in two, and man, that looks incredibly awesome. It stays very well in his left hand, but you do have to fiddle with it quite a bit to get it in his right hand. It is possible, it's just tough to get it to stay there. Somehow with this video, I did manage to get it to stay. Up next, he comes with these open thunderclap hands, and he does have effects to make that, and I think this looks pretty cool once you get it all set up. There he is with the effects on him to make the thunderclap. And this looks pretty good for the most part. I like these whooshing effects right here. They're translucent plastic and they have a little bit of green painted on them. And because of the soft torso up there, you can actually get him posed correctly. The only thing I don't like is this effect. I wish it would have been like clip-on or something, because you kind of just have to get it posed the right way. I haven't actually got this to be able to stay in his hands. If you get his fingertips touching, sometimes you can get him to stay. But yeah, for the most part, this doesn't want to stay for me and just falls right out there. I mean, even just like that, that actually looks pretty cool. So yeah, you don't really need that effect. I think that looks cool as is, especially with that head sculpt on there. Up next, you get this Ed McGuinness-inspired Hulk head sculpt, and I think the sculpt of this looks phenomenal. I think it looks like it stepped directly off the pages of his artwork. I think that run was the 2008 Hulk run. And man, this looks really good. They printed the details on the eyes, and I feel like it came out a little spotty. I'm used to the print detailing on Hasbro figures being really crisp nowadays. But yeah, it does get really spotty there on the eyes. But the rest of the head sculpt is sculpted really nicely. You can see the inside of his mouth right there. I do think it should have had a little bit of paint variation to it, but that's a minor gripe. The hair is sculpted very well, and you get some nice green variation, some light green variation over top of that. I absolutely love this head sculpt, and this is probably the head sculpt I'm going to leave displayed on the figure. Up next, you get this toothy Hulk head sculpt. I think this is supposed to be like a 70s head sculpt, but man, I do not like the sculpt of this. The hair is sculpted really nicely. It's got some nice variation in it. I just don't like the mouth area. I think that's what throws it off. It looks like he doesn't have an upper lip. Maybe that's the issue, because you can see his bottom lip right here. But yeah, just the way it's sculpted, I mean, especially if you look at it from the side, he just looks way too toothy. I really don't like this head sculpt at all. And finally, you get this head sculpt, which I believe is inspired by Dale Keown's art from the 90s. I think that really looks like his artwork. It's kind of a menacing looking Hulk head sculpt. I really love that. It just looks really good. I especially love the sculpt of the hair and how they printed the variation right there for where it's supposed to be shaved. That looks really good. That is another impressive head sculpt from Hasbro. I feel like you could also use this as a Marvel vs. Capcom Hulk. I feel like that, I mean, it's not exact, but I feel like you could definitely do that if you wanted. So now, let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the figure. So taking a look at the rest of the figure, Hulk features a brand new upper torso right here. It does have this soft overlay piece over top of it to allow for more articulation in these butterfly joints. And I think that looks really good. You honestly couldn't tell this was an overlay piece until you get it out of the package and feel it. You know, I do hope that it withstands the test of time. Will it deteriorate? I don't know. Maybe if you pose it around a lot or leave it in a specific pose. I have seen some people's rip right here on the chest because they left him in a thunderclap pose. So maybe don't do that. I've honestly posed the figure around a lot though, and it hasn't ripped or anything. I definitely don't want to jinx myself. But I mean, it feels pretty sturdy for the moment. You get a bunch of really cool sculpted details. You get some slight texturing, as well as a bunch of veins and some light green variation. I feel like it's a little too perfect though, because you can see where the variation goes up and to the left on the left side, and then up and to the right on the right side. I wish the paint variation there wouldn't have been so perfect, but I think that looks pretty good for the most part. One thing that I didn't notice about this figure is he actually uses a new lower torso as well, because, or maybe it's just retooled, because you get some veins down here on his abs, and you don't on the previous body mold. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't notice that. As for the arms, they are exactly the same. I don't see any difference there. These joints were already pinless when it was released. You still get some really cool texturing on his pants. I do like how they painted a little bit of that light purple, well, I guess that's kind of like a lavender color, up towards the waistband of his pants, as well as on the torn portions. This one also had the same variation. Well, it was a different color, but they did paint the torn parts on. Another thing that's changed on this figure is this time he has toe joints, and that really helps for posing the figure around. I'm really glad that they updated that. They also updated the sculpt here with some veins, and that looks really good. I definitely wish that they would have painted his toenails on. They just left them cast in the color that he's cast in. So yeah, I do think this is a really cool figure. It's especially good for people that missed out on the previous Hulk figures. I believe both of the Hulks, the Marvel Legends 20th Anniversary and the Marvel 80th Anniversary Hulk, I think those have shot up in value. Which, I mean, this is a pricey figure, but it's still cheaper than the aftermarket on those if I remember right. So now, let's go ahead and go over his articulation, which I think is pretty decent. He has a double ball joint down here in the neck that can look up all the way. He can look down just a little bit. He can move his head side to side and around very nicely. He has shoulders that can move out that far. He has butterfly joints that can move back that far. Of course, they can move forward all the way, so you can get him in that thunderclapping pose. So yeah, I do think it's smart that they engineered it this way, because it looks great and it allows for some really good range of motion there in those butterfly joints. The previous figures, they had butterfly joints too, but they were extremely hindered. If I remember right, they could only really move back. So yeah, the articulation is so much better on this one. He has swivel at the bicep that can move side to side, single jointed elbows that can bend in that far, as well as move side to side too. He has wrist swivels that move all the way around and up and down. He has a ball jointed diaphragm that can move back very slightly, forward very slightly. He can move side to side very nicely and around pretty well too. He has a waist swivel, hips that can do a complete split. He can kick forward that far, back that far. He has a really nice thigh swivel, double jointed knees that can move back that far. Wish they could have moved back a little more. Ankles that can move down all the way, up all the way, a very nice ankle rocker, and toe articulation that can move up that far. So now, let's do some size comparisons. So first up here he is next to the 80th Anniversary Hulk on the left, and the Marvel Legends 20th Anniversary Hulk on the right. And out of these three, I have to say this new Maximum Hulk is definitely my favorite. I love how you get a bunch of different head sculpts, more accessories, and better articulation. If I had to rank them, this is my favorite, this is my second favorite, and then the Toy Biz one is my third favorite. It's definitely my least favorite out of the three of these. Here he is next to the Marvel Select Immortal Hulk figure, which I really don't know why they called it Immortal Hulk, because this just looks like a classic Hulk to me. But that's still a really good figure too. You know, he's really bulky, and he's, I think, $30 less than this Hulk, if he didn't shoot up in value, that is. So if you don't want this Maximum Hulk, this is a good substitution, if he hasn't went sky high on the aftermarket, that is. Here he is next to She-Hulk. I definitely hope we get an updated She-Hulk with her outfit that she wore during the 2008 Hulk run. That's the version of She-Hulk that we got in the Blob Wave. I mean, that was the outfit she actually wore for quite a while before that. But I hope we get an updated She-Hulk in that outfit. Whenever I think of She-Hulk, I think of that outfit for her. Here he is next to the new 2-pack Gamerverse Thanos figure. He is way bigger than him. Here he is next to the Psylocke from that very same pack, and finally here he is next to the first figure in the Maximum line, Spider-Man. So overall, despite the hefty price tag, I would still recommend picking it up. I honestly think this is probably the best Hulk that Hasbro has put out. I just really like it. You know, I saw a bunch of hate for it online and I put off getting it for a long time, but then I saw it in GameStop and I picked it up. I also used $10 off in rewards, so that did help. But yeah, I honestly do think this figure is worth it. I love the articulation scheme on him and the updated parts. You get a bunch of accessories, some really good sculpt detail. The paint could have been better. I mean, the paint on the head sculpts look good. I just feel like the paint on the body's a little so-so. But other than that, I do think this is a really cool figure. And it's really good for those that missed out on the previous Hulk figures, or that just want a definitive Hulk in their collection. I can't remember if I said it in this video or not, but this is definitely going to be the definitive Hulk that I leave on display. I just really like it. And this is definitely one of my top Marvel Legends of this year. So despite all the hate it got, I actually think it's a really cool figure, and I'd recommend picking it up. So, that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.